chapter, chemical reactions and equations. In this chapter, we are in the last part. That is, we were focusing on an important type of chemical reaction, that is redox reaction, which is the combination of, or which includes both oxidation and reduction, right? Once we shall go for recalling, then let us get more information about redox reaction. Dear students, you know that in any chemical reaction, if oxygen is added to a substance, then it is called oxidation. In general, we define this as the addition of oxygen to a substance is called oxidation. It can also be defined in another way as removal of hydrogen from a substance in a chemical reaction is called oxidation. Here, addition of oxygen to a substance or the removal of hydrogen from a substance is called oxidation. And if you want to take a simple example with respect to oxidation, it is when sodium reacts with oxygen, it produces a compound called sodium oxide, Na2O. See, here addition of oxygen to the chemical substance sodium to form a new compound. Therefore, it is an example for oxidation. Similarly, you know that when ammonia is heated, what happens? It undergoes decomposition reaction and forms nitrogen and hydrogen. Here, the hydrogen present in ammonia is removed. So this removal of hydrogen from a compound or from a chemical substance, so is called oxidation. So these two are the simple examples. Similarly, even we have also come to know that another one, in any chemical reaction, if hydrogen is added to a substance, that is called reduction. Or if oxygen is removed from a substance, it is called reduction. So it is addition of hydrogen to a substance or removal of oxygen from a substance in a chemical reaction. This is called reduction reaction, or simply we write it as reduction. You may take an example for that. It is again same type only. Sodium, when it reacts with hydrogen gas, that is, when hydrogen gas is passed over one of the highly reactive metal, sodium, then both will undergo chemical reaction to form a compound called sodium hydride. This is NaH. Addition of hydrogen to a substance is reduction reaction. Similarly, removal of oxygen. Okay, again I'll go for using the decomposition reaction. That is, when KClO3, nothing but potassium chlorate is heated strongly, then it decomposes to form two compounds. One is potassium chloride and another one is oxygen, right? Okay, oxygen present in the potassium chlorate is removed by heating it. So this removal of oxygen from a substance is called reduction or reduction reaction. Dear students, you are also very familiar with this chemical equation or chemical reaction. This is used for preparing oxygen in the laboratory, right? So remember this one. Next, there are some chemical reactions in which both oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, and we call such chemical reactions as redox reaction. Redox reaction, which is the combination of oxidation and reduction. Even yesterday we took a simple example for that. It is copper oxide. When copper oxide reacts with hydrogen, we know that the displacement reaction takes place. Is it not? Yes or no? Karan Gowda, whether displacement reaction takes place or not?
One second, sir. One second, sir. One second, sir. Dear children, the meeting has locked. So if you are leave the meeting, once again, if you want to join, it is not possible. Meeting has locked. So stay. Thank you, sir. You may continue.
Observe. Here, as we have already got information regarding reactivity series, where the metals are to be arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity, you can come to know that hydrogen is more reactive than copper. Therefore, it can displace the copper from copper oxide. As it displaces, so copper gets separated and remaining water is produced. See, this is one of the chemical reaction. See, this is both redox reaction as well as displacement reaction. Also, here why it is called redox reaction? If it is a redox reaction, in that reaction both oxidation and reduction should be shown. Look at it. Here copper oxide is there. The copper oxide, it gets reduced to copper because hydrogen removes the oxygen. Right? So here this removal of oxygen, it is called reduction. Removal of oxygen, it is called reduction. And similarly, this removed oxygen will react with hydrogen to form water. Look here hydrogen gains the oxygen and it oxidizes to water. So here what it is? Addition of oxygen to the hydrogen. The removed oxygen is added to hydrogen to form water. And we write this as addition of oxidation. Oxygen. It is called oxidation. Right? Even we have taken another example. It is, I think, zinc oxide. When it reacts with carbon, it produces zinc plus carbon monoxide. This is the second example. Okay, in this chemical reaction, zinc oxide has oxygen. When it reacts with carbon, zinc oxide gets reduced to zinc because oxygen is removed from zinc oxide. Then what do you call this removal of oxygen?
Reduction.
It is called reduction. Then similarly, this removed oxygen is added to carbon. Then carbon oxidizes to carbon monoxide. Please remember this. It is carbon monoxide, not dioxide. So here, addition of oxygen has taken place. So this addition of oxygen is nothing but oxidation. Addition of oxygen, it is oxidation. I think you have copied this much, right?
Yes, sir.
Now let me go for taking one more example. When you have written the definition of redox reaction and 2 examples over. Now let me go for taking third example. The third example is Don't know whether it was given or not. When hydrogen sulfide reacts with chlorine.
Over, sir.
Huh?
Sir, you have given.
Okay, once I'll write that for explanation. Here, hydrogen sulfide reacts with chlorine to form sulfur and hydrogen chloride. This is also an example for redox reaction. You can notice that in the compound S2S, we have hydrogen. So this hydrogen sulfide reduced to sulfur because hydrogen has been removed. So as hydrogen
Oxidation.
is removed from the substance, it is called
Oxidation.
oxidation. So
Oxidation.
Removal of hydrogen, it is called oxidation. And this removed hydrogen is added to chlorine. So then, after gaining the hydrogen, this chlorine becomes hydrogen chloride. So this addition of hydrogen to a substance is called reduction.
Reduction.
Addition of hydrogen, it is reduction. So I go for taking one more example. Fourth one. It is again H2S hydrogen sulfide. When it reacts with sulfur dioxide, produces the compound called S and H2O. Okay, here hydrogen sulfide is there. This is the compound having hydrogen. Sulfur dioxide is there. It is the compound having oxygen. You can observe that here hydrogen sulfide get reduced to sulfur. So this is removal of hydrogen.
Oxidation.
It is oxidation. Right? Or you can observe this one. Sulfur dioxide. Here oxygen is there. Whether oxygen is removed or not, then should I show the arrow mark from sulfur dioxide to sulfur or hydrogen sulfide to sulfur?
Hydrogen sulfide to sulfur, sir.
Hydrogen sulfide to sulfur.
Hydrogen sulfide to sulfur. It gets reduced to, yes, removal of hydrogen. Then what do you say about this? You say removal of oxygen.
Sir, oxygen is not removed.
Yes. This removed oxygen. So here, the removed hydrogen is added to the oxygen to form water. First one is, it is removal of hydrogen. This is oxidation. Yeah, addition of hydrogen. Addition of hydrogen. This is reduction.
Reduction.
These are the four important examples for redox reaction. With respect to redox reaction, we will go for defining some more terms. Let me go for giving you the information regarding that. Observe carefully. Suchit, can you hear me? Do you understand this? Okay. Observe. Okay. This is, you come to first example. In the reactant side, we have copper oxide and hydrogen. Copper oxide and hydrogen. Observe these two compounds. This is the compound having oxygen. If it has oxygen, it is ready to donate the oxygen. It is ready to give the oxygen What do you call such compound? The compound which gives, or the chemical substance which gives oxygen for oxidation.
Oxidizing agent.
It is called
Oxidizing agent.
Don't copy, just observe. It is oxidizing agent. Of course, I'll give you the points also. Just observe. In this case, the copper oxide is called oxidizing agent. And this, after giving the oxygen, it gets reduced to copper. Therefore, it is also called substance reduced. Oxidizing agent is also called substance reduced. Similarly, you just observe here. Here, oxygen is removed from the copper oxide. It is because of this hydrogen. So this is the substance which is responsible for removing the oxygen from copper oxide. That is why hydrogen is called
Reducing agent.
Called which removes the oxygen. It is called
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent.
Substance oxidized.
Wait. Reducing agent, it is the substance which removes oxygen. The substance which removes oxygen for reduction. This is called reducing agent. In this example, hydrogen is reducing agent. After reducing, then this hydrogen will take the oxygen and get oxidizes to water. Therefore, it is called substance oxidized. Hydrogen is called substance oxidized. Substance oxidized. Now, come to that example. Third example.
Sir, we should write it, sir.
Don't take.
Okay.
One example you have taken, that is enough. From here, afterwards I'll give you the points. Come to this example. Here hydrogen sulfide reacts with chlorine to form sulfur and hydrogen chloride. This is the compound. Hydrogen sulfide is a compound having hydrogen. So it can give hydrogen. So what do you call the substance which gives hydrogen for reduction?
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent. So here I write reducing agent. In that case, it is H2S. And here we have one more compound, that is chlorine. This chlorine is able to remove the hydrogen from hydrogen sulfide.
Oxidizing agent.
Oxidizing agent.
The substance which
Oxidizing
removes
agent.
hydrogen, it is called oxidizing agent. So chlorine is oxidizing agent. Here only, chlorine, Cl. Clear? Once I tell the definitions of both, listen carefully. Oxidizing agent, the substance which gives oxygen for oxidation, is called oxidizing agent. It can also be defined as the substance which removes hydrogen for oxidation is called oxidizing agent. The substance which gives oxygen for oxidation or which removes hydrogen for oxidation is called oxidizing agent. Next, coming to this. The substance which gives hydrogen for reduction is called reducing agent, or the substance which removes oxygen for reduction is called reducing agent. Every year, as I said yesterday, every year, so questions will be asked on this concept. Redox reaction, identifying oxidizing agent or substance reduced, or reducing agent, also called substance oxidized. So now I'm going to give you the definitions of all these. Please go for writing. Right. Some important terms. Some important terms. First one is, it is oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. In bracket, you may write substance reduced. Substance reduced. Now, you may write the definition. Definition is, right, the chemical substance which gives oxygen for oxidation or the chemical substance which removes chemical substance which removes hydrogen for oxidation is called an oxidizing agent. Please write with me. The chemical substance which gives oxygen for oxidation or which removes hydrogen for oxidation is called oxidizing agent. I'll give you the example later. Now, let's go for writing second one. Second term is, it is reducing agent. Reducing agent. Reducing agent is also called substance oxidized. In bracket, you may write substance oxidized. Right. The chemical substance which gives hydrogen for reduction, which gives hydrogen, I'm highlighting this, hydrogen for reduction. Another definition. Here we go. The chemical substance which removes oxygen for oxidation. Oxygen, I'm highlighting this. Oxygen for reduction. Again, I'm highlighting reduction. It's called reducing agent. It's called reducing agent. Just write one example with respect to this. That is, when copper oxide reacts with hydrogen, then it displaces copper, hydrogen displaces copper from copper oxide. Then as a result of it, copper gets separated and hydrogen gets oxidized to what? S2. Here you may write oxidizing agent. I'm writing in short form. Oxidizing agent is also called substance reduced. This is copper oxide. Then reducing agent is also called substance oxidized. This is hydrogen. Even yesterday I told you to remember this in a simplest way. If a compound is having oxygen, this is oxidizing agent. If it has hydrogen, this is reducing agent. Remember like this. It will be easier. Just I'll go for taking few chemical reactions with respect to redox reaction. You are going to identify substance oxidized as well as oxidizing agent as well as reducing agent. Gagandeep, did you understand? Okay. Sarup, is it okay? Yes. Anish, did you understand? Anish, just to show this symbol. If you have understood, show this symbol. Yes. Aryan Shetty, have you understood? Okay. Pranav. Yes, right. Now, I'll give you the question, how it was given in the examination. Right. Right. As question. Identify and write the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent in each of the following chemical equations. In each of the following equations. Let me take first one. Already this is over. And next one is as given in the right. H2S plus Cl2 gives rise to. Hope that you are able to tell. This is S plus HCl. Here, what do you say about H2S? Is it oxidizing agent or reducing agent?
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent. Hydrogen nitrogen. And this hydrogen is removed by chlorine. Therefore, chlorine is called oxidizing
agent.
Right. Oxidizing agent is chlorine and reducing agent is H2S, hydrogen sulfide. Next one, it is simple one only. Zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is reduced to zinc when it is heated with carbon. It produces zinc plus carbon monoxide. Yes. Here. Oxidizing agent is ZNO. It has oxygen. So directly you can write ZNO, oxidizing agent. And the oxygen present in it is removed by carbon. Therefore, carbon is called
reducing agent.
Reducing agent. Right. Reducing agent is carbon. Third one. Right. It is sulfur dioxide. reacts with hydrogen sulfide to form sulfur and S2. Equation is not balanced. Just I've been taking directly. Sulfur dioxide reacts with hydrogen sulfide to form sulfur and water. Here, which is the oxidizing agent?
Sulfur oxide.
SO2.
Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide. Because it has oxygen. Next. S2S. It has hydrogen. Therefore, it is reducing
agent.
Right. H2S is reducing it. Fourth one. It is manganese dioxide, MnO2 plus hydrogen chloride, HCl, gives rise to MnCl2 plus chlorine gets separated. Also, can you tell what is the another compound? Here we got manganese chloride and chlorine gas is separated. Then what
Hydrogen.
other compound?
Water. Water.
Water. Now, which is the oxidizing agent?
Manganese
MnO2.
oxide.
Manganese dioxide.
Manganese dioxide is the oxidizing agent. Then reducing agent.
HCl.
HCl. Hydrochloric acid. Over. Yes. These are the few examples I have taken for identifying oxidizing agent and reducing agent. In the examination point of view, this question can also be asked like this. Identify and write the substance reduced and the substance oxidized in each of the following equations. Now we are moving to the next concept of this chapter. Listen. Dear students, so far we have discussed about oxidation, reduction, and redox reaction. And these reactions can also be seen in our day-to-day life. And some of these will also affect the metals as well. You may go for taking an example of iron metal. See that iron metal, when it is kept open to the atmosphere, you all know that it get corroded, right? Or it get rusted. Then once it is get rusted, the flasky substance is formed on its surface, and this can be removed easily, and the iron loses its mass, loses its strength. Not only that, so imagine that suppose you have used a ring in your finger, and when you use it for longer time, after removing, what can you observe on it on the surface of your finger?
White color mark.
Marks, sir, white color mark.
A green color coating, light green color coating can be observed on your skin, right? Followed or not? Have you noticed that one? Similarly,
Yes,
suppose the brass lock is there, or else copper lock is there, or else copper wire is kept as it is. If it is unused for longer time, you can notice that there will be a green color coating on its surface.
Yes, sir.
It is one of the effect of the redox reaction or oxidation reaction. Similarly, not only this, silver items. If the silver items are not maintained, what will happen? You can notice that there will be a cement color coating or dark cement color coating is formed on its surface. So that is why usually the silver item which we'll use in the puja room, oftenly we will go for cleaning them with toothpaste. Hope that you might have noticed that. Have you observed? If
Yes,
they
sir.
are not
Yes, sir.
maintained, if they are not maintained, you can notice that one.
Yes,
There will be
sir.
coating of dark cement color on its surface. And when we come across, even it will also affect on the food items. Suppose you go for taking some food items having fats and oils, or oily food, or fat containing foods, like it may be the chips. If you keep them open as it is, what will happen? If it is kept open for a longer time, the food
They get
gets
oxidized.
spoiled. It loses its taste. It loses its color. And it loses some of the protein contents as well. It starts producing the bad smell also. It loses its flavor as well. Or I'll take another example. The food item containing the oil, like figure rice. What we call in Kannada for figure rice? Chitranna, right? Lemon rice, figure rice. Hope that you might have heard. If it is not stored, or if it is kept open for a longer time, you know that the bad smell will be coming out from it and loses its taste as well. So it is all, what all the examples I've given you so far, all these are because of the oxidation. Means the the oil and fat contents that are present in the food item, when they come in contact with the oxygen present in the air or atmosphere, then it will spoil the food item. It produces the bad smell. It loses the taste of that food item. And these are all the effects of oxidation. In all the cases, oxygen is added. So added naturally. And we call these as effects of oxidation. So even we have effects of reduction and all, but in our textbook, they have focused on effects of oxidation in our day-to-day life. So now let me go for giving you the information regarding this. Write the side heading. Effects of oxidation. Effects of oxidation. See that effects of oxidation. Oxidation is nothing but addition of oxygen to a substance. Addition of oxygen to a substance or removal of hydrogen from a substance. It is oxidation. Here, when oxygen is added to the iron in the presence of water, what happens? Iron gets corroded. Even I have given you the example of copper as well. Not only that, even silver. So in all these cases, metals are eaten up by the action of the moisture, then oxygen, even some other chemicals
Corrosion.
like acids and bases. And we call this process as corrosion. Followed? And we have also come to know that the food items containing fats and oils, when they come in contact with the oxygen present in the atmosphere, then the food item loses its taste. The food item loses its flavor as well. That means it produces the bad smell. So this effect is known as rancidity. Got it? So corrosion and rancidity, these are the two important effects of oxidation. Corrosion and rancidity. Let's go for getting information about these two in detail. Now you write effects of oxidation. Right. there are two important effects of oxidation. Full stop. They are first one is called corrosion. Second one is called rancidity. Now we will come to know what are these and also how these are formed and how to overcome how to prevent the metals from the corrosion as well as how to prevent the food items from the development of rancidity. So for that, I'll take few examples. Just observe, please don't go for writing anything. Here, I'll take iron. When iron is exposed to the atmosphere, what happens? It reacts with oxygen as well as water and produces a red-brown color flasky substance, which is soft and also porous. Such a substance is formed on its surface. You can just by touching only, it will start falling down. It is such a soft, and we call that as rust. Got it? And the process is known as rusting. Observe it. It is Fe2O3 X H2O. Not imbalanced to this. Okay. When iron reacts with oxygen and water, it produces a brown color substance called the rust. And the chemical name of this rust is hydrated iron oxide. Hydrated iron oxide. Please don't copy anything afterwards. I'll give you the points. Hydrated iron oxide. Then, and you must also come to know one more thing, that iron undergoes corrosion, nothing but rusting, only in the presence of oxygen and water. Both should be there. If any one is not there, it does not get corroded. Followed. It does not react with oxygen directly. It does not react with the water directly. It will react with in the presence of both oxygen and water. So for that, we have a simple activity. Just observe. Here in this activity, you are going to take 3 test tubes. And let us name these test tubes as A, B, and C. This is A, this is B, and this is C. In the first test tube, you are going to place an iron nail. Then, in the second test tube, you will take some amount of water. Then, you'll go for thinking, or you are going to place the iron nail in the test tube containing water, and it is immersed completely. And after that, you just to put some drops of oil. See, this is oil and this is water and is iron nail. Next, the third one. It is, again, you are going to take the water in the third test tube and immerse the iron nail partially. Followed. Here, this is water and is air. This is iron. In the first one, I am going to put some crystals of calcium chloride. Next, afterward, close the mouth of each test tube with a rubber card. There should not be any holes. Rubber card. Now, You just leave them undisturbed for about 6 to 7 days. After that, you just go for removing the nail from each test tube. Could you tell me what will be your observation with respect to the nail which was present in test tube A? Do you find
It won't
any
react.
coating on its surface?
No, sir.
No, it will be as it is. Whereas, second one, you remove the iron nail from the second test tube and you will not find any change in that also. Third one, when the iron nail is removed from the third test tube, and you will notice that there will be brown
Rust.
coat on its surface,
Rust.
which is what we say rust. It is because in the third case, iron nail is in contact with both air and water. In second case, it is in contact with only water. Third case, it is in contact with air only, that is oxygen only. So from this activity, we can notice that iron get corroded or iron get rusted only in the presence of oxygen.
Water and oxygen.
Water. There must be water as well as oxygen. Then only it get rusted. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
You may ask a question that. So then why we have used calcium chloride in the test tube A? Dear students, you all know that in the air also there will be some amount of water vapors, right? Water will be present in the form of vapors. It should be removed. We want only oxygen. So that is why we have used calcium chloride. This calcium chloride will absorb all the amount of moisture present in the air. Then here only oxygen is present. Next, in the second test tube, you can also raise me one question that why we have put some amount of oil. Okay, here iron nail is immersed in the water. Then even air can also dissolve in water, but we have to avoid the contact of air with the iron nail. So that is why we have put some oil. Next, whereas in third case, so iron nail is immersed partially so that it is in contact with both water and air. So after 6 to 7 days, you will come to know that there will be no change in first and second, the nails present in first and second test tube, but there will be a brown coating on the third nail. It is because as it comes in contact with air and water, it gets rust. Clear? Understood?
Yes,
so
sir.
This is about rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. So, okay. Let me tell you about rusting of iron. The process in which iron reacts with moisture to form a brown flasky substance called hydrated iron oxide. This is known as rusting. And the chemical formula of rust is this: Fe2O3 H2O. Want to balance the chemical equation? You can write like this. It is here 2 atoms of iron. Here I'll write 2. Then oxygen. Here X number of molecules of water in the third way. Here also I'll take X. Then oxygen. Here 3 is there. Here is 2. Then how do you go for balancing it? Can we multiply this by 3 and this by 2? Yes. Can we do so?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we can
Yes,
multiply ferrous by 2, sir, and then it will become 4 and 6, sir. Then here 3 and by 4, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. 3, sir. 3, sir.
3. Okay, then what about here?
2, sir.
If I write 2, is it valid?
Yes, sir. Then ferrous it will become 4, sir.
Then very good. It becomes iron. It becomes 4Fe 3O2 X S2O. Gives rise to 2 Fe2O3 X S2. Now you just write about only corrosion.
Sir, in product side, how you have written that X, sir, there? In product side.
See, in case of rusting of iron, there will be any number of molecules of water. A water react aguthe. Any number of molecules of water may be there. So that is why we have taken X. You may take Y also, you may take Z. Any unknown, as it is unknown quantity. Fanod. Sandeep, have you got? Sandeep, no. You have to listen. You are busy in other activity. Okay. Now you write about corrosion. Right. Side it. Corrosion. Corrosion. Right. The eating up of metal. The eating up of metals by the action of air. By the action of air, water, moisture, and chemicals like acids, bases is known as or is called corrosion. It's called corrosion.
Sir.
Example. Yes.
Heating E80 you wrote, sir.
Oh, yes. Not heating. It is eating. E-A-T-I-N-G. The eating up of metals by the action of air, water, moisture, and chemicals like acids and bases is called corrosion. Example, it is corrosion of iron, corrosion of copper, corrosion of silver. I'll write one by one. Corrosion of iron. But only for iron, we have given particular name. Corrosion of iron, okay? Particular name. It is nothing but rusting. Then separate rusting.
Resting.
How you write? Second one. Is corrosion of copper. Corrosion of copper. Now you tell how copper get corroded. Under what condition? Yes. Anybody?
The copper color changes to green.
Yes.
Yes, of course it is. Yes. Yes, students, I told you that if any metal item is used, the metal item having the copper as one of the component is used for a longer time, and if it is not maintained, as I said, there will be green coating.
Green color.
And this green coating is a combination of two compounds. Let me tell you what is that combination. But it is due to the corrosion of the copper. Here, when copper reacts with moist air means it is when it reacts with oxygen, water, and carbon dioxide, this combination, it produces a green material, which is the combination of copper carbonate, CuCO3, and CO, OH twice, copper hydroxide. This is green material. This is corrosion of copper metal. Next, I'll take third one, corrosion of silver. Silver, its atomic symbol is Ag. Then how silver get corroded?
Nitish Kumar and do you have been writing or writing simply?
Sir, excuse me, sir. I should see first.
Silver reacts with sulfur, sir.
Ah, very good. Not just sulfur. You students, you all know that by the burning of fuels like petrol and diesel, they produce the gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, right? Among these two, if sulfur dioxide, if silver reacts with the sulfur dioxide, then it produces a compound called silver sulfide, AgS, plus oxygen gets separated. So this is a dark cement color. And we say that it is silver is corroded. Dark cement color. Over. Now you write about rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. Right, side link. Rusting of iron. Right. Rusting of iron means it is the process in which when iron comes in contact with or when iron reacts with air and water, oxygen and water, it produces a brown color flasky like substance called rust, and the process is known as rusting. Right. The process in which iron reacts with oxygen and water to form a brown flasky substance. In bracket you may write rust. Flasky substance on its surface is called rusting. Now, below that you write the chemical equation with respect to this. It is Fe plus O2 plus H2O gives rise to
Fe.
Fe2O3 X H2O, and you balance it as we have already balanced. This is 4, this will be 3, this is X, and this is 2. And here Fe2O3 X H2O, this is called rust. That is the common name, and chemical name is hydrated iron oxide. You write that. It is called rust in bracket. Hydrated iron oxide. Dear students, you all know that iron is one of the metal which is used extensively, right? Hence, the rusting of iron must be prevented. We know the reason for this. Here, when the iron get rusted, or in general, any metal get rusted, one thing, it loses its mass. Second thing, it loses its strength, right? So that is why it is much needed to prevent the metals from the corrosion. And here, we will go for focusing on preventing the rusting of iron. But how can we prevent iron metal from rusting? Very simple. It is the general thing that you know.
Galvanization.
Yeah. Use when the iron grills are used in the windows, will we keep that as it is?
No, sir.
What will do? We will go for applying the oil paint, right? So by applying the paint, so there will be no contact of iron with air and water. Therefore, it can be iron can be prevented from rusting. This is one thing. And second thing, whatever even the metal bodies will be used, or metals are used as vehicle bodies or vehicle parts, is it not? So if they are not maintained, what will happen? Obviously, the metals get rusted and the vehicle will stop working. It stops its functioning. So that is why we will go for putting the oils on the metals, right? So by oiling also, we can go for preventing the iron from rusting. And another one, even for metal, we will go for applying the grease as well. By applying the grease also, we can prevent it from rusting. Pranati, are you following? Are you following? Okay. Then another point.
Galvanization.
Very good. Galvanization. You are very familiar with that. In 8th standard only, you have learned about electroplating. Electroplating process, where one metal is to be coated on the surface of another metal by passing electricity. So here, for galvanizing means we will go for giving zinc coating for iron metal, so that we can avoid the rusting. Clear? So these are the methods by which rusting of iron can be prevented. So write down this. And before going to that point, let us write one more. That is, you also know the conditions under which rusting takes place, right? Adunu also. Conditions under which rusting takes place. Conditions under which rusting takes place. There are two important conditions. What are those? One is iron get rusted in the presence of
Oxygen
Air and
water.
water.
Oxygen and water.
Water.
Air and water.
Right. In the presence of A, in bracket you may write oxygen, O2. Second one, in the presence of water. The presence of water. Next point. Right. Prevention of iron from rusting. Prevention of iron from rusting. Write the points one by one. First one, by painting by painting. Second one, by oiling and greasing. Third one, by galvanizing. Alright. So this is about corrosion. Now we are moving to the next effect of oxidation, that is rancidity. So write down silently, rancidity. Right, silently, rancidity. Listen, dear students, we have already got a bit information regarding the rancidity. Usually, it is also one of the effect of oxidation. When the food item containing fats and oils, when they are kept open, they react with the oxygen present in the air, and the food loses its taste and produces the unpleasant smell. And we call this condition as rancidity. Then how can we go for preventing the food items from the development of rancidity? Obviously, some of the precautions will be taken by your mother to prevent the food items from the rancidity. Hope that you might have noticed.
Preservatives.
Yes, sir. We will go for some system for preventing the food items from the rancidity. One is
tight containers.
Yes, we will go for storing the food items in airtight containers. So by oils, the air will not enter into the container, so that the food will be as it is. Not only that.
By oils.
Yes.
Oil, sir, oil.
Why oiling? No.
Refrigerator.
Storing in refrigerator.
Some of the
refrigerator.
And many other items, they are to be kept in the pack, but the size of the pack will be more, the quantity of the chips will be less. Hope that you might have noticed that.
Nitrogen
gas.
A gas is filled in that packet. What is the reason for that? It is
to avoid the oxidation.
It contains oil. So if it is kept open as it is, it gets rancid. So that is why we will, to prevent it, we will go for packing it with
nitrogen
gas. Next, not only this, even we will, by storing the food items in the refrigerator, we can prevent the food item from rancidity. How? There, the temperature gets reduced. So it avoids the contact of air, that is oxygen present in the air, with the food item, so that it can be prevented. Not only this, even by using some of the antioxidants also, we can prevent the food item from the development of rancidity. So that such antioxidants are one is
BHT and BHT.
BHT and second one is
BHT.
BHT. BHA, its full form is, it is butylated hydroxy anisole. Butylated hydroxy anisole. And the second one, BHT, it is butylated hydroxy toluene. So these are the two important antioxidants which we use for the food item to prevent it from the development of rancidity. Clear? Rancidity. Prashant sir.
Sir.
Sound is coming.
Sir. Here I want to tell. Pranati, why? Pranati, why? Why are you unmuting during the explanation? Do you have a mind or not? Sir, continue, sir.
Okay. Yeah, dear students, write about rancidity. Right. When the food items containing fats and oil are kept open, then it produces the unpleasant smell. The unpleasant smell and loses its taste. Loses its taste. So this condition is known as rancidity. This condition is known as rancidity. What? Now, you write preventing the food items from the development of rancidity. Write that side again. Preventing food items from the development of rancidity. Let me give you the points one by one. The first one. Right. By adding antioxidants to the food items, to the foods containing fats and oil. Right, next one. By packaging, by packing fat and oil containing foods with nitrogen gas. Third point, by storing the food items in airtight containers. By storing the food items in airtight containers. Then by storing food items in refrigerator. Right. By storing foods away from sunlight. Away from sunlight. These are the methods.
Using preservatives.
You can prevent the food items from the development of rancid. Then, dear students, could you tell what do you call the substances which prevents the oxidation or which prevents the food items from
Antioxidants.
Antioxidants. I have already given you the two examples. One is BHA and another one is BHT. So, right.
BHT.
Right. Right. Antioxidants. The chemical substances. Which prevents food items from oxidation are called antioxidants. Two important examples. One is BHT, second one is BHA. Let me write the full form of those. Right. It is butylated, B-U-T-Y-L-A-T-E-D, butylated hydroxy. P is toluene. Next, another one. BHA. It is butylated hydroxy anisole. A-N-I-S-O-L-E. Finished up. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is about your chapter. So with this, the chapter chemical reactions and equations has been completed. Just we shall recall the points what we come across in this chapter and the concepts which we come across in this chapter. Shall I repeat?
Sir, right, wait, sir. Right side. Don't.
I'll rub this completely. Nikhil, have you finished? Veludi, finished. Amrita, have you finished? Okay. Rohani, have you finished? Madhulika, Madhavi, have you finished? Isarga, Spurti BR, Preeti KM. Okay. Prem, still you are writing. Have you finished? Okay. Utsav, Sahasra. Okay, right. Listen, just we shall recall the concepts which we learned in this chapter. In the very first, we come across the definition of chemical reaction. You can just recall it. What is chemical reaction? It is nothing but a chemical change in which the substances undergo chemical change to form new substances with new properties. And we have defined this clearly as the chemical process in which one or more substances undergo chemical change to form one or more new substances with new properties, right? Then what is called the substances which undergo chemical reaction?
Reactants.
Yes, yes, very good. They are called reactants. The substances which undergo chemical reaction are called reactants. And what do you call the new substances that are formed as a
Products.
are called products. If I take one of the example, that is burning of magnesium, in that name the reactants.
Magnesium and oxygen.
Magnesium and oxygen.
MgY.
Magnesium oxide.
Magnesium oxide.
Magnesium oxide.
Magnesium oxide. And we have also come to know that how to observe a chemical reaction, or how can we come to know whether a chemical reaction has taken place. So we have some characteristics of chemical reaction. Characteristics.
Sir, you should write it, sir.
Don't write it, just observe. Just observe. This is the time for recalling the concept.
Evolution of gas.
Evolution of gas.
Very good.
Evolution of gas.
Evolution of gas.
Formation of
Change in color,
Change in temperature,
state.
change in physical state.
Very good. ಈಗ ನಾನೇ question ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. You just go for answering. Those will be the characteristics. When sodium metal reacts with water, it produces the compound. Reaction between sodium metal and water.
Evolution of gas, sir.
Which characteristic? Very good. One is
Evolution of gas.
Evolution of gas. In that chemical reaction, sodium reacts with water to produce sodium hydroxide with the liberation of
Hydrogen gas.
Hydrogen gas.
And another one, zinc granules are to be taken in the test tube containing, and we'll go for adding dilute sulfuric acid. The reaction between these two.
ZnSO4 plus H2.
And hydrogen gas. Here also gas. And one more. Reaction between calcium oxide and water.
Calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas liberated.
Change in color.
Change in color.
No. When calcium oxide reacts with water, it produces calcium hydroxide solution. And when you touch the beaker, you feel hot. So
Change in temperature.
Change in
temperature.
Next, you'll go for taking aqueous solutions of lead nitrate and potassium iodide.
Change in
Formation of
precipitate.
When lead nitrate and potassium iodide solutions react with each other, it produces a compound called lead iodide.
Change in color.
Here, lead iodide.
Precipitate, sir.
Nan question ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ. Here, lead iodide is a solid substance which is insoluble in the solution, and we call it as precipitate. Then could you tell what is the color of the precipitate here?
Yellow precipitate, sir.
Yellow, sir.
Here we can write it is one is formation of precipitate, and second one is change in the color. Next, change in color. And another one is, we know that burning of wax candle is an example for chemical reaction, because in the wax there will be carbon compounds, that is hydrocarbons will be there. When these react on burning, it reacts with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water, is an example for chemical reaction. but at the same time, it will also be melting. So
Change in
here,
state. Change in state.
Physical state.
Change in physical state.
Physical state.
Please do remember, just by telling melting of the wax candle, just to melt adre, it is not a chemical reaction. Adu burn agbeku. Burn adre matra ನಾವು chemical reaction anta helodu. Okay. Our physical state, that's over. Then after that, we come across expressing the chemical reaction by using symbols of by using the symbols and chemical formula of reactants and products. It is fun. It is nothing but symbolic representation of the chemical reaction. It is called chemical equation, right? And there are two types of chemical reactions. One is
balanced chemical equation,
unbalanced chemical equation.
Unbalanced. This unbalanced chemical equation is called
skeletal equation.
Skeletal equation.
Just if you want to recall some points.
Skeletal equation.
The chemical equation in which the number of atoms of each element on the reactant side is equal to product side, it is balanced. If they are not equal to each other, then it is unbalanced. So,
unbalanced.
Wait. The balanced chemical equation will satisfy one of the law of chemical combination.
Conservation of mass.
The law of conservation of mass. According to this law, mass can neither be created nor
be destroyed.
Vismay, let your attention be here. And even we have learned how to balance a chemical equation. But for in 10th standard, which method has been introduced for balancing a chemical equation?
Hit and trial method. So in hit and trial method, the very first step, we will convert the chemical reaction into
word equation
into
symbol equation.
Symbolic representation.
Third important point is we will go for listing the number of atoms of each element on the reactant side and product side. Fourth one is we will go for selecting the compound having maximum number of atoms. Fifth one is we will select an element having maximum number of atoms. Then we will go for balancing the elements one by one. Right? So then after discussing all this, then we have come across how to make a chemical equation as more informative. After balancing a chemical equation, we can make it as more informative by following three important points. The first one is
physical state.
Indicating physical
reaction
state.
condition, heat change,
By indicating heat
liberation of
energy.
gas, precipitate.
By indicating reaction
liberation and
liberation precipitate. By indicating.
1 minute. Anish, where are you? You're not at all recalling. First one is, it is by indicating the physical state. For indicating the physical state, we will go for using the symbols like this. S for solid, L for liquid, G for gases. If the solution is prepared by using water,
Aqueous.
Next, by indicating heat evolved.
heat changes.
Heat changes. That is another point. If the heat is absorbed, it is written on the reactant side. If heat is evolved, it is to be written on the product side.
Endothermic and exothermic.
Yes, by indicating the upward arrow
for liberation.
liberation of gas.
For gas
and the lowest
Precipitate.
Yes.
Liberation of gas and
Liberation of gas.
For upper arrow for
Precipitate.
and lower arrow for
Another one is by indicating the reaction condition. That is the conditions under which chemical reaction takes place, which I escaped. Have you got? Then afterwards, we come across the different types of chemical reactions: combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double reaction. In case of decomposition reaction, we come across three important points. Decomposition reaction is carried out by supplying the
Heat, electricity,
sunlight in presence of sunlight.
By supplying the heat, then by
passing the
electricity,
presence of sunlight.
And in the
wait. What do you call the decomposition reaction if it is carried out by supplying heat?
thermal
Decomposition reaction. In the presence of sunlight.
photochemical reaction.
photochemical reaction.
Also called photochemical reaction. Then heat, light, and one more point.
Water.
Electricity.
Electrolysis.
It is electrolysis. And then we come across electrolysis of water, right? Here, when electricity is passed through acidified water, it gets split up into hydrogen and oxygen. Could you tell what is the ratio of the elements hydrogen and oxygen present in the water?
2:1.
2:1. Yakendre 2 atoms of hydrogen will be there and 1 atom of oxygen together will make water, S2. But mass ratio different irutte. And even we have come across volume ratio also, right? Amount through that experiment we have come to know that amount of gas collected in one test tube is double of another test tube. Got it? Hamsa?
Yes, sir.
So there hydrogen and oxygen will be present in the ratio 2:1 by volume as well. Number of atoms is same irutte 2:1. Hydrogen and oxygen, even in case of volume also it is same, but mass is different here. Right?
Yes, sir.
What is the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen by mass?
1:8.
2:8.
Very good. Very good. It will be 1:8. Last year kuda kaltidri. Then could you tell near what do you call the electrode which is connected to positive terminal of a battery?
Anode.
Positive terminal of a battery?
Cathode and anode.
So,
Cathode.
nearby which electrode hydrogen gas is formed?
Cathode.
Then oxygen is formed nearby?
Anode.
And after all this, we come across subtypes of chemical reactions. Anish, class you have to just hold your hands on the notebook. Yes. See, he is busy in this activity. That's not fine. And we just recall because it is chemistry. But if you do not go for recalling oftenly, it gets evaporated. That should not happen. It should be condensed. Condensed oftenly we should recall. Different types are. One is exothermic. Second one. Third one.
Neutralization.
Reaction. Right? And that precipitate reaction takes place under two conditions. The first one is when two aqueous solutions react with each other. Second one, when gas is passed
through aqueous solution.
Next, after that, we come across some other types like oxidation, reduction. And the combination of these two, it is
Redox reaction.
We identify oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Then after that, we learned two important effects of oxidation. One is
Corrosion.
Corrosion. Second one is
Acidity.
acidity. Clear? So
Yes, sir.
please do recall all the concepts given in this chapter today itself. You chemistry matra ನೀವು ಅದೇ ರೀತಿನೇ practice ಮಾಡಿ. The preparation of chemistry is different from other subject. Whenever you go for reading any concept in chemistry, just whatever the explanation was given related to it in the previous pages, once you glance that. Got it? You are ready to practice ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ chemistry can be covered easily. And next one, in NCERT textbook, exercise questions are there. Please go through all the exercise questions today itself. If any doubts are there, you can discuss in other period. Okay. And today evening, you'll be having the performance test 4 through Google Form. Yesterday, due to some reason, we could not conduct. Today, it will be conducted. So please practice that one.
Sir.
And tomorrow, we are going to commence a new chapter in mathematics. That is pair of linear equations in two variables. Please, once you glance it and come. So with this, let us stop the class. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.